Anyway, no, we're using exactly what we got. We got it. We're ready.
We need to do it again.
What? All right. And we're back.
And our special guest is our very first remote guest. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I think, and I told him when we started this, because he said he wanted to be on, I said, listen, you're going to have to fly out, bruh. You're going to have to fly out, come to Oklahoma, spend some time in the nice 105-degree weather. And
but he's like me, he's not mobile.
Sweat your balls off. But no, he said, no, I'm not coming to Oklahoma because it's way too hot. He came here before a long time ago for a baseball tournament, I think. But anyways, or a baseball camp. But anyways, his name is Flip King.
And I told you I would come out, but after football season. So it'd have to be November, December, January.
That's definitely the good time to come to this state.
Very true.
If you do not like the heat. Because that's going to be about the best time.
It's the best time to bring your wife and your kids, and they're going to be like, wow, this place is great. The weather's great. It's just like home. And then, you get here around.
And then April will come around. They're like, what is this? And then July, and they're like, I'm leaving. I've got a guy that I'm working with. He works for another company, but I work with him quite a bit, and he's from Montana. And he got out of his truck the other day, and he goes, when does it cool off in this state? I said, about Halloween. I said, when Halloween comes around, that's when it'll start cooling off around here. He's like, are you kidding or are you serious? I said, I'm dead serious. He said, we got 2 more months of this. I said, yes, dude, if we're lucky. If we're lucky, it'll cool off by then. And I complain and bitch, and I still live here. And have all my life. 42 winters I've been alive. And all 42 of them, well, no, 41 of them. One was spent in Utah whenever I was too little to remember. But all the winters that I remember, I've spent right here.
You lived in Utah when you were a kid?
Like a little bitty kid. My dad worked up there in the oil field. So anyway, let's talk about Mr. Flip. Flip, could you please tell us your name so everybody can understand who you are?
My name is Flip.
Oh, okay. That works too. All right.
Real name is Jeff Plagio in Seattle, Washington.
Did you say Jeff Fellatio?
Oh,
Jeff Plagio.
Oh, I bet nobody's ever made that joke before.
I've made the joke before.
It never gets old.
It
never gets old.
Well,
but here's the thing. I don't actually live in Seattle. I'm north of Seattle.
Oh, you do though. It's close enough to orientate someone to where you live, just to say Seattle or whatever.
Yeah. Otherwise, are you going to recognize when I tell you, oh, I live in Bellevue or I live in Bothell? Nobody knows what the fuck that is.
No.
Say Seattle. They know where Seattle is.
Yeah, it's like living in Oklahoma and you go, I live, in McAllister, and they'll say, where's that from Oklahoma City?
Yeah, every time.
And I'm like, well, that's like 3 hours away.
I only know 2 cities in Oklahoma, Tulsa and Oklahoma City.
Yeah, and we
all
live
the
a
other
long
cities
ways.
Aren't real.
I've told you about McAllister before many times. McAllister football.
Well,
I think it's a front.
Yeah, I think you're right. Well, that one thing I know that I met you through this man here, better known as Rammer, and I think that you and I are somehow spiritually connected, even though we've never met, because I think we think a lot the same on a lot of stuff. So,
and I say that all the time. All the time.
Another reason why you should move to Oklahoma.
No, man.
If I was a bald white guy, I would be LJ.
Yeah, see, I've actually told somebody that before. I just told a guy at work that the other day. I was like, man, I know this guy that we play online with, and it's weird, dude. We are oddly similar. Our lives are oddly parallel, especially to live as far away as we do. I mean, I would never dream that there were regular people in Seattle, Washington.
No, they're not.
I mean, I wouldn't think that. I mean, I know now that there's, regular guys there, but honestly, I thought everybody walked around drinking lattes and had umbrellas.
Look, I'm going to tell you guys, everything you guys hear about Seattle is true.
I figured.
That's exactly what you see.
Do you carry an umbrella with you at all times?
No. The only people that carry umbrellas in Seattle or in Washington are people that are visiting.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I figured that.
That's exactly how you know they're not from here. They're the only assholes with umbrellas.
Do you? When was the last
Here's
time
the-
that it? Go ahead.
Listen to this. Here's the thing too. So in Washington, it doesn't rain straight up and down.
Oh,
So
okay.
these people are holding umbrellas and they're getting water in the face because our rain goes sideways.
They don't know
Oh.
to turn the umbrella which way they need to. They don't know any better.
Like I said, they're not from here, so they don't know.
So you just get to where you're like, well, it's same as any other day. It's raining, so what? And just go on with life.
It is. You get so used to it, you don't even use an umbrella, and you don't wear hats, jackets. You just walk with your head down. You just look where your feet are going, so you don't get rain in your face.
Does it really rain? I mean, I know that there's a lot of rain
When's the last time that
scientifically.
When's the
but
last time that it rained on you? Right now.
he's like, it's raining outside right now.
No, it hasn't rained in a couple weeks.
Oh, wow.
It's supposed to. It's raining here tonight.
But I lied. So we're in summer in quotes.
Yeah.
But it rained one morning, probably last week.
So now, would you call what you call a rain and what we call rain might be different? I mean, does it have to like come big drops before you count it as rain, or is that just a light sprinkle? I mean, I'm wondering what our idea of rain is versus what your idea is.
Anytime water comes down from the sky, here it's rain.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, some of these guys that I know, like these guys I work with that are from the Dakotas and stuff, whenever I say we get snow, you know, they're like, well, how much? What's snow to you?
Right.
You know, and I'm like, I mean, we get an inch or two on the ground, and they're
It's
like,
not snow to them.
that guy, and these guys look at me like, are you kidding? You know, just an inch or two. You know, we're liable to get that from breakfast to lunch. You know, I mean, these guys act like our snow is
In
nothing.
July.
Yeah, it's nothing. Yeah, they're in their 40s up there in the morning.
I was gonna say that's like us too. Like we don't really get snow, but freezing temperatures. If we get freezing temperatures, they'll shut down school for like an entire week.
Oh God.
So when you get rain up there, does traffic slow down a lot?
Oh my gosh.
Like they've never
You
drove.
would think it wouldn't because people are from here,
Right.
but it's like people fucking forget how to drive. Like,
Yeah.
it's a new concept to them that the ground is wet.
Yep. It's just like that in Florida. It rains every day in Florida. Every day. And traffic will come to a standstill when it starts sprinkling. And it's like, are you kidding me? That's not that way in Oklahoma. Dude, we will drive 90 miles an hour in the rain. We
People
don't care.
drive stupid no matter what the weather is out there.
Your guys' rain is also a lot different from ours. You guys have like flash floods.
Oh,
yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, we just had some pretty big rain.
And you hear flash flood on the Weather Channel and on the local news and everything. There was like, flash flood warning, but I've never paid attention to it. I'm like, they say that every time.
Well, if you're in like a creek bed or something like that, I guess you could maybe get washed away.
Right.
But I don't spend any time in creek beds, so I don't think it applies to me. You know.
Not often. Every once in a while, I'll go to creek bed.
Do you?
Yeah, a little bit. Arrowhead hunt.
You don't strike me as the creek bed kind. You know.
I like spending time in the creeks, man. I like fishing.
Do you?
Yes.
I don't think you do. I don't think that's true.
It's true. I mean, it's been a long time since I've been in a creek bed, but I do like going to creek beds. Flip is battling pneumonia, and that's why he's not here. He was going to fly in from Seattle, but he had to cancel because he's got pneumonia, and it's the type that's contagious, and he did not want us to get it.
I appreciate that.
And we're not real sure if it's contagious or not, but he didn't want us to get it. So he stayed home.
Well, yeah, well. Okay. Now I want to get something straight though. I got a question to ask. Are you coaching your son's football team? Like, are you head coaching?
I am.
5th grade.
Sweet. And what's
Well, do you guys go by age and weight?
No, we go by grade.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we go by age and weight. So my kids range from like 9 to 11. And then the weight is like, if they're 9, I think they have to weigh above 99 pounds to play on my team. 10-year-olds, I think the max they can weigh is 113, and then 11-year-olds they can only weigh 81 pounds.
Damn. Well, now
It's so weird how they do it, and it kind of pisses me off because so we had our jamboree last weekend, and this is the problem with weights. When you get teams that try to stack a certain age group,
sure, yeah,
they'll have kids cut weight. Like you're talking about 9, 10, 11-year-olds going on diets, cutting weight, skipping meals, not drinking water for an entire day.
Wow.
So like, first of all, it's not that serious.
Yeah.
But I'm watching all these kids weigh in, and they're stripping down to just their underwear. And then after weighing in, they'll eat this big ass meal because they're like, oh, well, I haven't eaten in 3 days.
That's insane.
So I'm thinking to
dude.
myself, I've only got 15 kids that are struggling to make weight, but you've got like 30 kids that are trying to drop weight so you can stack out this division. Like, it is not that serious.
Yeah, it's always fun to beat people that are that ridiculous about things.
Well, I recently joined a Oklahoma football youth football group on Facebook, and it's a little more serious than I.
Oh yeah, I mean you can take anything like that as serious as you want to.
Most of the teams are up like in Tulsa and stuff, you know, and man, Oklahoma City, and them dudes are a little. I mean, they're talking hardcore smack to each other.
Dude,
hardcore smack.
We almost got in the very first time we ever played at Union in Tulsa. There was almost everybody's shaking hands as we're leaving. There was almost a fight between the coaches as the game's over with.
That's not right.
I mean, these guys, everybody had to be separated and all that.
This is for the kids. This is about the kids. This is not about, you know, coaches and dads and all that. It's all about the kids. But in our league, it's fifth grade or fourth. We're in fourth grade, and you can't weigh over.
They have like like ball carrying restrictions on weight.
And you can't weigh over a certain weight either. You can't weigh over 150 pounds in our league in fourth grade. We had a kid show up at the first of the season. I'm pretty sure he weighed 166, and we had to send him to the fifth grade team.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
We didn't ever have to do that. When we had some big kids, that must be something fairly new because we could have the biggest giant 10-year-old kid, and there's some of them that are huge, show up, and they'll lumber around out there and fall on top of people and everything else. Well, my oldest son, the only time he's ever been injured, I'd say, he's been hurt but never injured playing football, was by a kid that weighed like 200 pounds in the fifth grade. And he was playing running back. They tackle him. The pile's there, and this giant kid, at the end of the play, the whistle blows, and he runs right over there and flops down on top of the pile. And Gavin's leg was bent kind of like behind him a little bit. When this kid flops, he's like laying across another kid, so it bends it, I guess, further up behind his back than it normally would go or whatever. And he's screaming, you know, whatever. And so we go out there and peel this big-ass kid off. This kid's still big to this day. I've seen him recently. He's a giant man.
And that's like that picture I sent you guys on Instagram of my nephew.
Yes.
He's like 2 feet taller than my son, and he's like 10, 15 pounds lighter than I am.
He's huge.
Yeah.
I believe he's 10 pounds, like 195 or something like that.
Wow.
But so he's 10, obviously, same age as my son, but he's playing on a 12U team because I guess they go. I don't think they do weight where they play because they're like 3-4 towns south of where I'm at, and they go by age, I believe. I don't know how they do some of the leagues around here.
So he's playing up.
Yes, he's playing with kids 2 years older than him.
See, to me, you're at that point. I mean, I get it. You don't want these big kids to hurt the smaller kids, but I mean, to me, you're basically taking this kid and you're sticking him with kids that are so much more advanced physically and mentally, man. I mean, there's a difference between 10 and 12 years old. You know, you were hurting this kid's chances of getting better at football at that point. You know what I mean? Unfortunately. I mean, I'm not saying that this kid's not able to do it. I'm just saying I would say on average, an average kid playing 2 grades up, how in the hell, you know?
Yeah. I mean, that's like, I've got I've got 2 9-year-olds on my team that physically or mentally aren't ready to play in a higher division with. Well, like, I mean, you guys have seen my son play, and I wouldn't want these 9-year-olds playing with him. Especially, it's their first year. They're afraid of contact. They're afraid to hit somebody. And I kept telling our president, I was like, look, you've got 2 kids up here that don't belong here. They're not physically ready. They're not mentally ready. But their parents just want them to be on my team because their friends are on the team. I was like, you're asking for somebody to get hurt at that point.
Yeah.
And so what did he say?
I told him, I voiced my. So here's the thing. So Saturday I started off with 18 kids. Our league minimum for each team to actually play a game is 15. I lost 2 kids on Saturday that were overweight, so they had to move up. I've got 4 9-year-olds that technically should be playing down, but our league president moved them up so that we can fill out my roster, so we have enough kids to have a team.
That puts you
and
in
I told him, I was like, I've already lost 2 kids. Why would you put 4 kids on my team that aren't ready to play just to field this team when I can just take the remaining boys that I have and just move them up another division? Because the next division is 10, 11, 12. And all my 10-year-olds can go up, which is like 8 or 9 of them, which I would much rather have than trying to struggle and get 14 kids and try to play 8 games with 14 kids. And you're telling me 14 kids in 8, 9 games are all going to stay healthy for an entire season?
Yeah, that's tough, dude. That would be hard to keep up with.
That's what I'm starting to realize, that they're looking more of it as number wise and not player safety, which it honestly, like, it frustrates me to death. Like, I've gone the last 2 weeks telling these guys, look, we can't be doing this with little kids. Like, my son last week, I had to run him every single play because nobody was blocking, and the only yards he was getting was because he would go hit somebody or run over somebody. And honestly, like, as soon as I got him home, I felt terrible because he took off all his gear. He had bruises on his shoulder, his back. And then the next day, he was just laying around all day because he was telling me how sore he was. I was like, dude, we're going to have to figure something out because I can't be running you around like that anymore.
Yeah, I could see that point. I could see that, definitely. What so you're the president of your league. I mean, he's fine with it? He's like, well, they paid their money. Let's just get them in there. I mean,
yeah, and I'm still trying to get to the bottom of why it's so important for them to have. So we've got 4 teams. We've got like 89ers, Pee-wees, Bantams, and I think seniors. And I'm the Pee-wee coach. So I told him, I was like, look, just take the 89ers off of my team and move them down. And then my 10-year-olds, the rest of them, can just move up to Bantam. Bantam had to play on Saturday with 11 guys. That's all they had.
Oh, God.
So I was like, well, why wouldn't you put my kids with that team and have a full team, and everybody can play? You don't have to worry about who's getting hurt or who's going to have to sit out, instead of trying to fill out this team and trying to have 4 teams with the least amount of players. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, what's more logical?
So if he did that, would you coach that team? You would move to be that coach?
No, I would help. See, I don't care about the head coaching part of it.
Right.
Like, I'm going to get my point across regardless of where I'm at, whether it's at home with Josiah or at a game yelling from the sidelines. Someone's going to hear me regardless. But I just think the whole concept of, you need 15 kids to field a team to be able to play. Well, what happens if 4 kids get hurt in my game? Then what?
Especially having these young kids that, I mean, the chances of them, because I'm sure you probably no more kids than you have, you got to work them in there. You got to play them.
Yeah.
And then the chances of them getting hurt are pretty high.
Is there a play minimum in your league?
10 plays, I believe.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Each kid has to play 10 plays. But here's the thing. So, like I told him, I was like, my kids aren't going to last. I had one kid who sat out because he said his stomach hurts. Another kid, a 9-year-old kid, by the way. Every time, I don't know how this happens, but when we all know how this happens. When it's time to run, he's always hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And I go ask his dad, hey, what's wrong with your son? Oh, he's sensitive.
He's sensitive.
He's sensitive.
Mm.
And then, so does his dad run over there and kind of, yell at him a little bit or get stern with him about not being sensitive?
No, he goes and massages his legs and asks and makes sure he's okay.
Damn, dude. Yeah, I've seen that though. I mean, I got to say I've seen it before a lot of times.
We're on 12 plays, so we got to get our guys to 12 plays. But having 4 players that don't want to play football, I can see that would be hard to get their 10 plays or their 12 plays. People don't understand, man. They think that I don't know. I think parents, they just think that their kids need to get their 12 plays in, and you're like, listen, your kid don't want to be out there. And we haven't dealt with it before. We try to get our kids their plays, but we did have players in the past that did not want to play football. So how are you supposed to get them their 12 plays?
Dude,
or their
I've
13
seen
plays?
kids that hate playing, that their parents won't let them quit, and their parents will count plays during the game, and they'll say, my kid was 3 plays short of what he's supposed to get to play. And you're like,
and that's the stuff I'm talking about.
this kid is crying.
And he,
you know what I mean?
right.
He does not want to play.
Right.
It's not him, faking getting hurt. He just sits there and cries because he don't want to be out there getting banged around. And I'm like, really? What are we driving for here? What are you going for, lady?
Why are you even counting plays when your kid don't even want to be out there? Makes no sense.
Yeah, and the hard part too is, I'm sure you deal with this too, Rammer, is when you're coaching and then like you got parents telling me, oh, my son was good at this position and he can do anything you ask him. It's like, well, it's hard when you only got 14 kids. Kids are going to have to play out of position.
Yes.
I told him straightforward. I was like, look, I understand he can probably play that position, but because we only have an X amount of kids, he has to play at this spot because there's nobody else that'll do it.
Yep.
And then you get the parents that are pissed off. It's like, well, look, people aren't showing up. There's not enough kids. So what would you like me to do about it?
And that's getting to be there not being enough kids to have teams is definitely getting to be a bigger problem as we go. It seems like, because I've been doing this stuff for quite a few years. My oldest son's 17, so we started in whenever he was in 3rd grade, and
were teams bigger back then?
Yeah, honestly,
Number-wise?
It seemed like there were more kids playing then than now.
Yeah, because we've kind of struggled to get for the last couple of years, because Cason's been playing since 3rd grade. So we're 3rd grade, 4th grade. We're in 4th grade now. Both years, we kind of struggled to get a team.
See, every year, Gavin played the Hartsville first. Then he played Savannah. Then he played McAllister, and we never had trouble with getting enough people to play. That was never an issue. And now it seems like every time you turn around, teams are like, the 3rd grade team can't get enough kids, and it's a weird thing, man. It kind of worries me about the sport. Especially, and I'm not saying youth athletics is the end all be all, but I'm just saying from what would you say? From the standpoint of people that play sports or your kids play sports, it's dwindling, from what I've seen in the years that I've been doing. And I'm an old man now. So.
Do you see that too up there?
Yeah. Yep. Big time.
Even sports in general, not even necessarily football.
Yeah, the last few years, numbers have been slowly dropping. This year, we've only got 4 teams, but last year we had 6, 7 teams, I believe.
Yeah. Why do you think that is?
I told you what it was.
I know, but I want you to tell me again.
The parents.
Definitely.
It's the parents, it's the kids, it's the whole concussion thing, which I get it, right? It's a safety thing, but what people don't realize is it's everybody knows concussions are out there. People are going to get concussions. It wasn't the fact that the NFL lied and said that the sport was dangerous. It's that they covered up the details about what concussions were doing to its players. And I think parents don't realize or understand what that whole CTE issue was about. So they're like, oh, well, everybody's saying it's a concussion thing. So if my kids don't play, then they won't get concussions. We won't have to worry about it. But like I said, they've just got the wrong notion of what that entire thing was about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly feel like just growing up, myself as a boy and, in Oklahoma, middle of nowhere. But, I mean, there's plenty of ways to get hurt. I mean, There's plenty of things you can do that have nothing to do with football. I didn't play football until I was in 7th grade. They didn't have youth football whenever I was a kid. And, dude, I've hit my head God only knows how many times. Now, okay, I get it that you're subjecting yourself to the possibility a lot more often playing football. I get that. But at the same time, I mean, I don't see my 2 children have not received any more injuries than I did growing up. I mean, I can say, as far as them coming to me going, God, that rung my bell, or I can't see, or I'm throwing up, or any of that stuff like that. None of that. The only time either one of my kids have ever had a bad enough concussion to make them throw up or to feel something that, irregular was a skateboarding accident. My youngest son was riding a skateboard and he actually did crack his skull and he had a really bad concussion from it. But it was skateboarding. He was not supposed to be doing what he was doing, of course, that, with good reason. But anyways, I guess I could see it, but to me, it's like a generational thing, dude. It's like people are not.
It is. It is.
Yeah, they're not the same with their kids, and I'm not even one of them. Make them drink out of the water hose or whatever. I'm not even necessarily trying to be that guy, but I mean, I think we've talked about it before. I mean, it's the best way I know how to raise your boys to be men one of these days. I mean, I'm personally bent that way. I'm just made that way. So I'm going to naturally say that. But there's a lot, and I'm not necessarily bashing women when I say this either, but there are a lot of mothers that when they have their kid playing football, it's they want that status of, I guess you'd say, of my kid's an athlete or he plays and all these things like that. But they don't want, then they're so worried about them getting hurt that they don't ever succeed. You know what I mean? They put them in this thing so that they're one of the football moms and they get to wear those little hats with the, the team logo on it, and everybody gets to wear all their cool stuff, and we get to talk about we playing football, but they don't really want their kids to play, because their kids ain't out there running into nobody. They're out there hugging, and they about half-assed don't want to be there,
Yeah.
I mean, you got.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the thing about Josiah. Like, I'm glad that he's doing well when he's playing football, but that's not why I got him into football.
Yeah.
I wanted him to be able to defend himself, learn respect, be able to take directions, make new friends, and just do something, get out of the house. I see that's the thing, like kids now, like they don't know how to just go outside and play.
No, they don't.
No.
If they don't have a phone in their hand or they're not playing video games, they're going to be like fucking like me on this video, like not knowing to do with my hands when I'm talking. It's like, oh, I'm outside. What should I be doing?
Mm-hmm.
Climb a fucking tree. Do something. Cartwheels. Anything.
Well, then, like my kids, I raised them. They're physical kids. I mean, obviously, just by nature, just by genetics, if nothing else. I was always a really physical kid as far as I like playing, I like wrestling, and like doing all that dumb shit, that's irritating to people. That's what I like to do whenever I was a kid. And even with the way things are now, my kids are still, I would say, on the front edge of being physical. compared to other kids, but they were raised that way. I mean,
Yeah.
I remember picking my kids up and throwing them on the bed, and when they were big enough it wouldn't break their freaking leg or whatever. I mean, we were always that way. So you see it translate on the football field, and it's like you were saying a minute ago, Flip. I mean, it's like they think it's about playing football, but it's not. I mean, it's just about it's a natural transition for people like us to do that. I mean, dude, if we were alive 400 years ago, we'd be out fighting other tribes or some shit. I don't know. I mean, we'd be doing something physical. And so football happens to be the physical thing that's alive and well right now. So to me, it's kind of sad to watch it like dying. I mean, what's next? What I mean? What's coming after that? I mean, we're going to play chess? Or, I mean, we're going to pat each other on the back and tell each other we're sorry all day? Is that going to be the next thing that we got for physical contact? I mean,
yeah,
dude, I feel like, I know that sounds drastic, but I'm just saying, I mean, I feel like masculinity is under attack almost. It's almost like a bad thing now to be.
It's definitely under attack.
Yeah, I mean, like my son, and he's a little bit overboard. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to justify his behavior. But, I mean, to me, my son that's like this freak show now to everybody. Everybody's like, oh, God, he's out of hand, blah, blah, blah. He was like in the middle of the pack when I was growing up. I mean, he might have been able to hang out with me and my friends when we were growing up. That's how rough everybody was. You know what I mean? I mean, they talk about don't fight in school, don't, da-da-da. And we were like, we didn't care if a teacher was standing there. Somebody slaps you upside the head, you're going to slap them right back. It don't matter if Donald Trump is standing next to him. You know what I mean? You're going to defend yourself. So it's like, I raised him that way. So, and it's almost, I sometimes feel like, man, maybe I did him a disservice by teaching him to be physical, but I'm like, no, I mean, we need to curb it a little bit. We need to shape it, mold it a little bit, but I'm glad that he's that way,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you strap pads.
I was telling Rammer, like, during baseball season when, like, I love baseball. Like, Josiah, he really didn't care for it because, I mean, it was pretty rough for him. He probably got hit. He got hit every single game, it seemed like it.
Oh, damn.
But, like, every time he got hit, he'd fall on the ground. And then you get these moms sitting next to me. Oh, that poor kid, he gets hit every day. And I'm sitting there like, dude, get up.
Yeah.
Like, don't make people feel sorry for you. That's not what we're here for.
Yeah. Take your base, bruh.
Yeah, you're on base. You did your job. Now score if you can.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, another thing too is like the whole winning and losing aspect. Like, I could care less about, honestly. Like my son, he's just like, oh, we won, we did that, we did this. Like, dude, who cares?
Yeah.
Like, when he loses, like, he cries. It's like, dude, what are you crying for? People lose all the time. It's part of the game. Get over it.
Well, I always, from an individual standpoint, I mean, as far as my kids go, when they're playing, I mean, I'm looking at, like, at the end of the game, when we have talks like driving home or anything like that, it was always, dude, did you do everything that you could? I mean, did you do what you could to win this game? And if we all can agree, man, you had a hell of a game. You tried hard. This was a good play. This wasn't such a good play. But as a whole, if I felt like this dude put his heart into it, man, how can I be mad about losing if that happens?
Yep.
You know what I mean, because I watch as my kids are getting older, and I see them starting to apply that kind of thing to their life. You know what I mean? With that confidence that they gain from knowing, hey, man, I put it out there. So, if we won or we didn't. Now, I don't like it if they half-ass the game and then they're laughing whenever they lose. I'm like, all right, no, that ain't what we're doing, you know. But I mean, winning and losing. My younger son will cry. He's just like yours, what you were talking about, Flip. I mean, he's 12 years old, dude. If he loses a basketball game, I don't care if it's a one-day tournament on some pickup team for 12 and under, that don't mean nothing about nothing. He does not want to lose. And he may have played like hell. You know what I mean? Like, I remember one time he didn't play very good at all. He's like crying at the end of the game. I'm like, you should be crying. Because that was terrible. You made no shots. You took like 12 shots, made nothing. But I'm the same way. I mean, and I've told you this before, Flip. Not just for podcast sake. I've told you too. I've told my kids would be like, well, I don't know. I'm afraid if I didn't do this or do that, or if I didn't play this sport, I don't know if you would love me. And I'm like, dude, I've gone on about this all wrong then, because it ain't about ball. I mean, it is, but it's not. I'm trying to teach you guys some stuff. And I don't know how else to teach you. I don't live on a ranch or a farm where I can get you out there and show you the value of a day's work or whatever, whatever shit you want to say there. But it's what I know, you know what I mean? And
right.
What I know is that shit turns people into men. Whenever you get done with it, you learn how to lose and how to get hurt and keep moving. And I mean, how else are you going to do that? I mean,
yeah. Yep. Learning how to deal with losing is really what I would probably teach them the most. Just how to deal with it. Like, it's not. I hate sore losers.
Yeah.
People that don't know how to lose, or they get all combative when they lose. Stuff like that. Like.
Yeah, I can't handle that either.
I can't deal with any of that.
Yeah, it's bad character. Yeah.
Yeah. You gotta learning how to lose and dealing with it. That's a skill that you gotta learn.
Yeah, I thought it was funny whenever my older son, now he's getting in high school, he's gotten to where, and we never had this whenever I was in school, so it was kind of foreign to me. But he knows some of the kids from other teams that he plays, like by sight. If he sees them somewhere, he'll say, "Oh," and they might talk to each other, and I'm like, "Who the hell is that kid?" He's like, "Oh, he's that kid that plays linebacker for Wagner or something like that." I'm like, "How do you know him?" And he's like, "Oh man, I follow him on Snapchat or some." I'm like, "What?" But win or lose, these guys know they're all out there playing ball.
Right.
I mean, they at least respect the fact that they get out and do. I guess you'd say a gamer respects a gamer, or a guy that can play it respects another guy that can. And to me, that's a pretty cool thing that I didn't necessarily count on, because I didn't know about that whenever I was a kid. I mean, everybody was like, "Well, Hartshorn's coming to your house, you better hate their guts. If you see them, punch them in the face or whatever, I mean, that's, I was raised a lot, not raised, I guess. My mom and dad didn't give a damn one way or another who won the Hartshorn-Wilburton game, or that even they were playing.
Yeah, but if you were in Wilburton and you were in sports, you didn't get along with anyone from Hartshorn.
No. If you ran into them at a house party or something like that, it was always a fist fight.
Yes.
What, this dude from Hartshorn? What you doing over here in Wilburton, man? And then you're a big fist fight or whatever. But no, I mean, I myself am a little bit softer on my kids. I mean, I'm a little bit guilty in a couple of areas of being softer on mine than my parents were.
Well, my kids never even climbed a tree.
Well,
as far as I know. So I feel like I may be
because you live in town, bro.
I know, but
you got to get out of town.
There's a couple trees out in the yard that he never tries to climb.
Them damn trees don't count. They'll bend over, even though casings in them. They'll probably bend over and touch the ground.
Not the tree in the backyard. The tree in the backyard is big. Both the trees in the backyard are big. He's never attempted to climb it.
Well,
as far as I know.
Well, but you think about this.
Times have changed, man.
Well, even when I was a kid, though, I would kind of rotate. I'd play Nintendo for a little bit, and then whenever it would piss me off, I'd go out and do something. I'm like, oh my god.
Oh yeah, don't think I didn't play Nintendo when I was a kid.
What's like Theo Vaughn talks about, when he's talking about playing video games, you like either won or lost. Like we're playing games now that are like competing against other people, but like you were playing against Bowser, and you had to get yourself ready for the big boss at the end of the level. And if you lose to him, dude, I would rage quit. Whenever I was little, if I couldn't win, I'd go outside and I don't know, throw rocks or something like that and get pissed off whenever I didn't win, but.
That's funny.
My kids don't know. They don't go outside all that much. They go outside. I can't say that, but they just don't. I don't know. They have things like my oldest son will go and mow. He started his little mowing business or whatever. So
he did?
I mean, he does that stuff. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Buff mow or whatever it is he called it. But they were out mowing yards over the summer. Yeah.
Oh, I did not know
On
that.
his own. I wouldn't give him money one day. He's like, "Hey, can I have $20?" I'm like, "No, mow my yard." He's like, "All right." And then he goes to me and he goes, "Hey, you think I can make money mowing yards?" I was like, "Hell yeah, you can. Around here in the summertime, yes." He's like, "I'm gonna see if I can." Next thing I know, they're going every day. After Summer Pride, they go work out. Him and two of his buddies, they load up my mower and my weed eater in my truck while I'm at work, and they go find some yards to mow. But I mean, how am I not gonna let them?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Am I gonna say no? It's a terrible idea. You're not using my stuff to go make money for yourself. How dare you? You know. So I let them, and they did that kind of stuff.
Charge them rent for all of it.
Well, I didn't do that. There again, I'm softer than my parents, man. I mean, I'm just no softy. But the younger one, without his phone all summer.
Did he go help?
You know what's funny? No, they wouldn't let him go. But you know what's funny though? By the end of the summer, when he was just about to get his phone back, he's like, man, I'm getting to where I really, for about the last month or so, I really haven't missed it that much. He's like, I'm not that excited about getting it back. Now he didn't say I don't want it back. He wasn't that excited, but I was surprised. He was like, you can get by without a phone. I was like, hell yeah, you can. I made it like 20 some odd years without a cell phone. So
yeah.
But that's in my neck of the woods. I don't know.
Speaking of CTE, Flip has a brother-in-law that was in the NFL.
Oh yeah, he was part of the study.
Yeah,
really?
I remember you telling me about that, but I didn't know of any of the if there's any conclusion to the study yet.
I'm not sure. Honestly, I'm not sure. But yeah, he came home, I want to say last year. Can't remember when. But a part of his exit from the NFL was to get checked for symptoms of CTE. And if he had qualified, I think that he would have got money part of his what the hell is that called?
Like a
It's
settlement?
like their retirement kind of deal.
Oh,
I believe.
yeah. Like the player's pension or whatever it is.
Oh yeah, there you go. Pension.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't ask him about stuff like that. So, but apparently he there's days when he talks about like, oh yeah, he was like, yeah man, that CTE's got me all messed up. I was like, well, I mean,
What's it like for him? I mean, as far as the residuals off of it, I mean, did they have a player's retirement and all that stuff like that? But I mean, does he get any kind of, is he into any special businesses or connections that he made because of being in the NFL or anything like that? I mean, I see guys like Emmitt Smith and all those guys.
He was in the league long enough to get to get his pension. I think he had to. I think just minimum was like 5 years. I think to get it, and I think he was in for like six or seven. Honestly, I can't remember. 2010, I think, is when he got in.
Wow.
And he just retired. I want to say like 2 years ago, I believe.
What position did he play?
Safety, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was a safety. He was on. He played for Denver when they won the Super Bowl. Super Bowl, what was that? Super Bowl 50?
Oh, so this dude got a ring.
Yeah, I drove down to Santa Clara. We went down there.
Did you kiss the ring? Did he hold it out?
Kissed it, licked it, wore it.
That's trippy, man. That's cool.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like so we got there. Both teams stay at the same hotel, which is kind of weird.
So you went to the game? You went to the Super Bowl?
I didn't go to the game. The parents, his parents, his wife, and his in-laws, they all went to the game. I think he only had 5 tickets. But I think like 30 of us drove down to go and hang out.
I was going to say you at least tailgated or something, I'm sure, probably.
Oh, yeah. We went down to, what's that thing? I forget what it's called, but that big parade or whatever, that little function they had before the Super Bowl, like in the downtown area. I don't know what it's called, but we went there.
I don't either.
Honestly, I can't remember what it was called, but we were there.
That would be weird. It would be weird to know you're watching the Super Bowl and somebody you know is on a team. You know what I mean? That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Well, it's weird. So, because he got drafted by Houston in 2010. So his rookie year, me and my wife and Josiah at the time, we went out and watched him in Houston. And after the game, they've got a player family lounge that the families sit around and they wait for, all the players to come out. You're not supposed to take pictures, take autographs, or any stuff like that. But, dude, you're down there. You're standing next to some of these NFL players, and they are fucking huge. Dude, Brian Cushing is probably the biggest human being I've ever seen that was just all muscle. Like, he was wearing some sweatpants. I thought his quads were just going to rip right through him every time he walked. JJ Watt is huge.
Yeah.
Connor Barwin. I don't know if that name's familiar to you guys, but that dude was big.
Was he a center? I'm trying to think.
No, he was a linebacker.
Oh, okay.
Linebacker DN.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
But I mean, Super Bowl, I saw Vernon Davis. We met.
He's a freak of nature.
Yeah.
Elway. We got to meet John Elway.
Wow, that's cool.
Not Peyton Manning, but the backup, Brock Osweiler.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Derek Wolf. No, did I ever send you that picture I took with Demaryius Thomas?
I think so. I think you may have showed it to me. I don't remember.
Yeah, take a picture with him. Oh man, that after party in that lobby was the craziest thing I've ever done or been to.
I can see how that
bar,
would be.
Free cigars. All the players were there, and they had Flow Rider. Flow Rider was performing.
Nice.
So it was pretty neat.
So your brother-in-law, where did he go to college?
Idaho.
And
Idaho Vandals.
And so he says I'm not going to say he says, but he feels like he has CTE.
I don't know if he has it, but I think he says he has like some sort of symptoms of it. I don't know. I don't know what it entails.
Has he ever expressed to you how he feels about kids playing football, or like your kids playing football?
His kids don't play. I can tell you that.
And is it because of him, or is it because of his wife?
I don't think it's necessarily him. I think it's his wife. His wife is actually pretty protective of their kids. So.
And he's okay, I guess, with just them not playing football. Do they want to play football?
Honestly, I don't know, man.
Are they
to
boys?
be honest, I don't know. They play flag football.
Oh, okay. How old are they?
I think the oldest is 8.
Oh, okay.
And they've got a 4 and a 3-year-old.
So maybe in a couple of years they're going to have to start making decisions if those kids want to start playing ball.
Yeah, I'm going to go out on a limb and say they probably won't. As much as I know he wants them to, I don't think the wife would let them, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
That's crazy, man.
So him being in the NFL and playing football his whole life, he's not really against his kids playing.
No. Because, I mean, I want to say he's came out and he's watched Josiah come and play a few times, and he's watched his younger brother come play a few times as well. So,
so his brother,
he's not against people playing it, but I just think his kids, it's just his wife.
Yeah.
It's the wife that won't let him.
What does he do? I don't want to get into his personal life too much, but I mean, what does he do for a living now that he doesn't play football? I was always curious about what people do after they retire and stuff.
I'm trying to think of what I think I think he majored in like sports medicine, I believe. But right now he's coaching at the College of Idaho, which is in like Boise, I believe, which is where he lives.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, so he's a DB coach out there. Yeah, we were out there a few months ago. Went to go visit him, and we went to go see the campus and see his team, and then they had a little auction that we went out there. He hasn't been here So when he got drafted, he hasn't been like back here since he got drafted.
Jeez, so he's out, huh? He's like, man, I'm
Yeah.
made it out. I'm
Yep.
staying out. Huh?
Yep. He'll come. I think he's probably come probably 3 or 4 times within the last how long is it? 8-9 years, I think. But I mean, at the same time, he's got his own family to worry about, so
Sure.
he's trying to keep himself busy too. So can't fault the guy.
No, is he kind of a freak? I mean, physically. I mean, to be an
You know
NFL
what's funny
player?
is me and him, build wise, are the same. So when I first started dating my wife, and I would go over to their house and just walk around, like they would mistake me for Shiloh, which is his name. So like I'll be sleeping on the couch and they're like, Shiloh, wake up. And I'll turn around, they're like, oh, never mind.
That's weird, man. Because like,
Here's funny too. So when he went to Idaho, we would always go eat breakfast with them after the games. So they would come up and tell him, oh, hey, good game. And they would shake my hand and tell me good game, thinking I was on the team. And they're like, oh, Shiloh, good game, man. You guys did good last night. They would shake my hand like, hey, good game. I was like, yeah, I'm on the defense. That's all I would say. That's why if you ever look at my Instagram posts, it will say like number 5 on the defense.
yeah,
If you ever pay attention to it, it's because I would tell people, yeah, I'm on the defense, number 5.
that's probably how you met all them guys. You're like pretending to be
nobody
him.
knew who I was.
They would know him, but they wouldn't know you.
Yeah, until they looked it up and realized, who the fuck is this guy?
So when he was in college, it was pretty well known that he was going to get drafted. Was there any doubts or? Because I'm sure
I don't know, man. To be honest, it was weird. So we went to all his home games because it was in Idaho. It was just a 4-hour drive for us. But I honestly don't remember asking him anything about the draft. But I remember when he came home for the draft because we had a draft party for him. And that was pretty wild.
Was that when
I'll tell you
everyone?
that.
Is that when you thought, oh, he might really go to the NFL? Was that like the light bulb for you?
Here's the weird thing. So before he came back for his draft party, he actually worked out for the Seahawks.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's a good thing he didn't go to that team.
And I think so. What happened was I think Houston had like 2 picks before Seattle. And when Houston picked him, Seattle ended up drafting a safety that same round from another school. So I'm in my head, I'm thinking, damn, if he never got picked up, what are the odds that Seattle would have picked him up?
Right.
Huh.
It was so close.
Which would have been insane because
Yeah.
he lives here, he played here.
Yeah, it never works out that way. I'm still waiting for Blake Griffin to come back to the Thunder.
Oh God.
Oh my God.
And Trey Young and Buddy Hield.
Nah. There ain't nobody coming to the Thunder anytime
and then Baker
soon.
Mayfield getting traded to the Cowboys.
I like Baker Mayfield being where he's at, dude. I like him playing for the Browns. They're gonna.
I know, but wouldn't you rather see him playing in Dallas?
Nah.
Really? Why?
I don't know, because I just don't think
Well,
Jason
'cause
Garrett would know how to use him. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they'd be able to do it right.
Well, you're probably right there. I don't know, man. I don't
Oh
know.
man, some funny shit is when we would go out to visit her brother, and we would go out to like lunch and dinners. Like I would call him out in front of everybody.
So it's your wife's brother, right?
Yeah, so like when we're getting ready to pay our bill, I'm like sitting there, I was like, but that's Shiloh Kale. Talking to the waiter. Like, you're gonna make him pay for dinner? Do you know who this guy is? Or we'll be out in public and I'll be standing like 10 feet behind him and he's just walking with his sister. I'm like, oh my God, that's Shiloh Kale right there.
I would do the same shit.
In the mall.
Yeah.
In the mall. So, yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I would do the same shit.
It was a long time before you even told me that your brother-in-law was, in the NFL or had a Super Bowl ring.
Yeah, I'd be telling everybody probably.
I know.
I'd be like, hey, you ever heard of this guy? Well, I'm related to him. Not by blood, but
it's not something like we just like throw out there. Like we've been to a few places because my wife's sister, she played college, so she would walk around in like a Broncos jersey, and somebody had stopped and asked her like, "Hey, are you related to the Shallow Kale that played for Denver?" And like, "Oh yeah, that's my brother." I mean, they're all low key, and they're pretty quiet, and they don't really just go around like, "Hey, my brother won the Super Bowl,"
Right.
stuff like that.
Right.
Now,
I always wondered how he felt about, and I think I've asked you about it before, how he felt about his kids playing football, and I think and you told me you thought it more so his wife that didn't really want the boys to play, and they're only 8, so I get it. They're not playing football yet, but maybe in a few years.
One of these days, somebody's when them kids get older, they're gonna say, I can't believe you're not playing football. Your dad was, an NFL player, and then they'll be coming. Oh shit, maybe I should.
Sooner than later.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure he wouldn't want to put like that kind of pressure on his kids either.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Because they know, right? They know he was.
Yeah. Well,
I know I would be like, don't embarrass me.
To be honest, I couldn't tell you. To be honest,
if they know,
because I'm trying to remember.
This is your nephews, dude.
Because we were at their house, and I want to say like we were talking about like, oh, what your dad used to do, and I don't know if they just didn't remember or they're just oblivious to. Here's what it was.
He sold cars.
So, no, he played for. Who did he play for? I think when he played for Houston. Oh, that's what it was. He played for Houston, but his oldest son is like a huge Dallas fan. Yeah, I mean that's the only thing I could think of, but yeah, I don't know, to be honest with you. I don't know if they were like really like super into it. I highly doubt they were. Well, it's weird because my son, he's 10, but like he'll go on YouTube and look for
his videos
that season specifically and watch all his highlights.
Yeah. Really.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, look at your son playing football too.
Also in that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, he played in the Super Bowl, right?
Yes.
Dude, that's insane.
He was 4-team special teams, and I think in the playoffs he actually started. He started 2 or 3 games in the playoffs. I think he had a game-winning pick against. I want to say, who was it? New England, which I've got that ball, which is weird why I have it, but whatever.
Who threw the ball? I mean, it couldn't have been Tom Brady.
No, I think who was it? Ryan Mallett was his backup at that time. He threw the pick, and I don't know how this ball came in my possession, but I have it in a box.
That's pretty cool.
You're like, all I did was walk through his house. I saw it laying around.
Picked it up.
Picked it up. Next thing I know, I'm home with it.
Oh, you know what it was? We went on a family trip to Oceanside in Oregon, and we were just playing beach football, and that's the ball we were using.
Oh
that's crazy, dude. But you know what, man? You think about it, an NFL player, he's going to do that. He's like, what? Yeah. I've been around famous people that play football. I'm one of them.
It's not a big deal. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It was pretty neat.
So you were like, we're going to play with this, but I'm taking it home when we're done.
Yeah, just I put this in the car.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm trying to think if there was any other cool stories to tell you guys about that, but I don't think there actually was. I know he went from Houston to, I think he went to Cincinnati, and then I think he went to Denver, and then he went to New Orleans for a couple weeks, I believe.
Well, it's good to know, these guys will put their degrees to work and that kind of thing once their football playing days are over. Because, even when my kids were little and they were talking about I want to play in the NFL, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, dude, one of these days you'll play your last football game. No matter who you are, no matter how good you are, you'll play your last one. And then,
Well, unless you're Tom Brady.
well, yeah, I guess so.
Well, I think at the time Shallow was playing, I think the average year was, or the average league time he was saying was like 2 or 3 years.
Wow. And just for someone to stay in it that long.
Yeah,
This goes to show you, especially for a safety.
I remember when it got towards the end, he was like, all I got to do is just make the roster so I can get, I think he was talking about that. He just needs to make the roster, and then that'll give him his qualified years for his
pension.
Player pension.
Yeah. Very cool. So another cool story from Seattle, or out of Seattle, happened, I don't know, 13 years ago? And I could be way off on the years. I don't really know. All I do know is that there was a large organization that sold out to another.
I knew this was going somewhere. I didn't know where it was going.
So there's one city kicked its team out of its city, and they're now in Oklahoma City. They're called the
And believe me,
Oklahoma City Thunder.
Everybody here really hates Oklahoma and Oklahoma City.
Why? Because we were
it's not a joke. Everybody hates Oklahoma and Oklahoma City.
I know, but why blame Oklahoma City? Why blame Oklahoma for the Thunder or the Supersonics?
Because it's your fault.
How's it our fault?
Even KD hates Oklahoma and Oklahoma City.
But KD's from Texas.
But
so
he
what do you
wanted
expect?
he wanted to play
or
in
he
Seattle.
played at Texas.
He's talked about it. He was pissed whenever they moved the team to Oklahoma City, which is another.
Nobody likes Oklahoma.
Well, I like it enough to root for Oklahoma City. Well, not now because there's nobody to root for. But
I'm not a big Thunder fan, never have been. But I tried, especially when Paul George came. I was really excited about that.
I was still hanging on. Oh, you're just
some of the moves Oklahoma City has done. I say some every year. They make the stupidest moves. Mm-hmm. And I'm no GM, but man, I can tell a bad move from a mile away that Oklahoma City has made.
Yeah, they're going to be the new Lakers now.
Well, yeah. I mean, the whole allure of Oklahoma was, what's his name? Westbrook.
Yeah.
And KD when he was there. Paul George. Now you had lost all of that. Now who wants to go to Oklahoma and play there?
Nobody.
Good luck with that one.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's laughing about it,
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm sure.
Flip is, he loved it when he's
I mean,
Paul George left.
It's gonna happen. I mean, but I'm curious to see how your fan base is gonna deal with an organization that does bad. I mean, I've seen how Seattle would deal with it.
Well,
we had to deal with it after they left.
We've had to deal with it every year because they've always done bad. Even when they've done decently good, they fall apart at the end, and everybody gets mad, and everybody wants the best player and the coach gone. I mean, Oklahoma fans, or Oklahoma City or Oklahoma Thunder fans are not forgiving at all. And they're going to blame somebody.
The closest thing to a professional team we've ever had is OU.
Sooners, yeah.
And we're used to winning.
Yep.
A lot.
Very true.
So, yeah.
That's why I think the whole move to Oklahoma was like a weird thing because, like, you guys are a college town. So, like, to stick a NBA or a professional team, like, out in the middle of there is kind of, I don't know, to me it's kind of weird.
Well, it actually has worked out. I mean,
there was a big chance to take. If you think about it, you go, do we even have the fan base? Do we have, are people going to come out for this?
I think it's obvious that we do.
Yeah. We go through some real tough times in Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as.
Well, I mean, that's like, of all the teams you could have taken, like, I think Seattle hurt, or the Sonics hurt the most. Like, you could have taken the Mariners. We would have been all right with that.
But not the Supersonics.
Yeah.
No. They won a championship. Let's see. Our football team won a championship. Our soccer team won a championship. Our WNBA teams won a championship.
Well, I love the Supersonics growing up, man. I was a huge Gary Payton fan, huge Sean Kemp fan. I still have my Sean Kemp jersey. Detlef Shrimp.
It's funny. I think I only went to 2 Sonic games ever. I think.
Really?
Yeah.
That doesn't make you any less of a fan, though, right?
I mean, yeah, I watched them on TV. I watched
Yeah.
them every day on TV. I just never went to the the Key Arena?
Now, have you always lived in that area? So
No.
when you were watching
so
them on TV, how
I
far?
grew up south of Seattle,
Ah,
in a city called Des Moines, which is
In Iowa.
it's
Des
like
Moines,
on the water,
Iowa?
kind of by a marina. So, but like
how far were you from the arena, though?
from Seattle,
From
probably 40 minutes.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I mean, you're right there.
Yeah, I mean, like where I live now is about 40 minutes north of Seattle. So everything's pretty close. But like I said, I only went a handful of times, if I remember. I went to a shit ton of Mariners games because obviously I grew up playing baseball. But I mean, and through our leagues, we kept getting Mariners tickets. So.
And you play college baseball, correct?
Yes.
I did not know that.
Walked on, and then
We definitely got to talk
really
about that a little bit.
couldn't afford school anymore because I was. So here's also another thing. So I walked on at Green River where I went. I worked graveyard, and then I went to school all day.
Jesus,
so
dude.
my work schedule was 11:30 at night to 7 in the morning. And my first class was at 7:30, and I had a full schedule every single day. I don't know why I chose it that way. I should have changed it up to do like 1 or 2 classes a day, but I had all 5 classes every single day. So my first class was at 7:30. My last class ended at 2:30. Practice, or I think weight room started at 3:30, and then we went to practice from 3:30 or 4 to 4:30 to like 5 or 6, and then we had study tables from 6 to 8:30.
Good
So
God.
then I would do that. I would go home, shower, and then go straight back to work.
And get burnt out real quick.
Real fucking quick.
Something had
Yeah,
to give.
dude, that's crazy, man. I couldn't.
Dude, that was probably the hardest thing I did. But you know what? That's a lot of people. A lot of kids won't do that.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, it like you've got to be pretty sick in the head to do some shit like that. Now, but I mean, that's what it took for me to get into school, and to be able to do it, I had to pay my own fucking way to get into school.
Yeah.
And I mean, I told Rammer this, like, I don't care. I didn't graduate high school.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I dropped out my senior year probably here's the thing. So I was probably, before I found out that I wasn't going to graduate, I was like 3 or 4 credits short. So I forgot what the hell I did, but they would send me packets home to make up those credits.
Yeah.
I did them all. Did the test, went to my counselor, did the final test. Come to find out, I was still 1 credit short.
What?
Yeah. So I was like, oh my God. So I was like, you know what?
Fuck this.
Not even deal with
I'm
it.
done.
I'll just fuck it. Not a big deal to me.
Yeah.
So, didn't graduate. Probably about 3 to 4 months after school was out. Like, I went to a community college and got my GED. And when I got, the funny thing, so they told me when I got there, like, oh yeah, this test is really going to take you about like 6 to 8 hours. It's like, well, shit, I don't got all day to be doing that. So I just went in, like, I started filling shit out. I was like, I got to get the fuck out of here. I just finished as quickly as I could. About a week later, I got my test back and I scored like in the 99 percentile.
Damn.
Holy
for, like,
moly.
all this shit. Well, so that's the thing. Like, people think like, oh, this guy's a fucking idiot. He didn't
Right.
graduate high school.
Right.
I was taking pre-calculus, fucking chemistry, AP English like my sophomore year in high school.
And that's
Damn.
crazy that someone that's as smart as you are, for whatever reason, you fall one credit short of, graduating after you do all of that hard work.
Honestly, like I just wasn't into it. That's what it came down to. Like I was more into the extracurricular and not school. But the
Right.
funny thing was like I was really good in my schoolwork. I didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
Like so I took biology 2 years in a row, and you're not supposed to take chemistry until you pass biology. I failed biology 2 years straight.
Wow.
Like I wouldn't show up to class, but we did this thing called competencies, where you've got to learn certain points throughout the year, and you test on them. And if you test on that, that makes up like 70% of your grade. So like I would
okay,
go
yeah.
in like the end of the semester, not do any of the homework, not show up to class, but I would nail out all these competencies to get a passing grade. But they failed me because I guess attendance was like a certain percentage of my grade, but I didn't really think about that. So I thought I had the system nailed down, but they got me in the end.
I can
think what
relate.
else there was. Yeah. Everybody that listens to this, go to school.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I did. Terrible in school, man. My grades sucked in the entire time. Like I barely graduated high school, and I read post high school in 7th grade. It's hardly an indicator of your ability. But, and I tell my kids this all the time. It's not that. It's you have to have it. There's people expect you to have that part of your education, so it's really hard to get past that if you don't have it. So it's not the learning that's the hard part. It's the putting up with the shit, like you were saying, like drudging through it because you get bored. A lot of that shit. I was really good at English for whatever reason. So all the English stuff from the time I was in 8th grade was like the most boring. I'm like, why are we spending so much time on you people trying to figure out where these words go in this sentence or what an adjective is and where it goes? What are we doing? You know what I mean? I'm sitting here listening to shit over and over again.
And over.
I got this shit the first time I heard it. Why are you in my class? Go to the LD class. And I'm not even ripping on learning disabilities. I'm just saying, you're slowing us down, bruh. I'm starting to draw my tennis shoe over here. I ain't even paying no attention to what the hell we're doing now. I'm so bored.
Yeah, I think the one thing that got me was my favorite teacher in school was my math teacher. And she would tell us, it was like, as you go on in school, you're not really learning anything new. You're just learning different processes to get the same answer.
Yeah, it's a mistake to tell people that shit. You're like, well, fuck this.
Yeah, so I'm sitting there thinking, I was like, well, why the fuck am I in school learning all these different fucking ways to come up with the same answer if I already know this answer?
Yeah, yeah.
So honestly, that kind of fucked me up too. But like I said, that was my favorite teacher, and I was just going off of what she told me.
Well, I took a class. I took physiology when I was going and trying to get into nursing school, and that class was like, basically, I could find out anything I was getting taught in class on the internet. So I asked my instructor one day after we got done with the lab. She was always there, So I said, in all honesty, you give me your honest answer about this. What keeps me from getting on the internet and teaching myself everything that you're teaching me right now? I said, I'm literally looking up the answers to your questions on my phone, using the internet to answer them. So what keeps me from educating myself? And she said, you're not an accredited college. I said, so you're telling me it's entirely possible for me to learn everything I need to know that you're teaching me online and then go on? She goes, yeah, other than you have to have a degree from an accredited college. I said, one of these days that physical colleges are going to like be a thing of the past. She said, yeah, I know.
Yeah. See, and that's like the thing with like trade schools.
Yeah.
Like my trade, HVAC, like I can go out and say, oh, I can do so-and-so and work on such and such. But if I don't show my paperwork, it don't mean shit.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like,
Yeah.
it's like those people that stand out there at the Home Depots. Like they're all contractors. They were at some point. Like they can do
Anything you
construction,
want them to
housing,
do.
shit like that. But
Yeah.
like
They're not certified.
they can't get the right pay because they don't have the licenses or all that shit that they need.
Yeah. Yeah, the internet's opened up the world to everybody, man, and that's the funny thing. That's why I don't necessarily dislike technology, because it's crazy, dude. I'm like, why don't people teach themselves this shit? I mean, you hear about these guys that go to prison and they all of a sudden start studying law while they're in there and become lawyers and all that shit. I mean, out of desperation most of the time. But I mean, isn't that why we're all doing? I know it's why I'm doing what I'm doing. Straight out of desperation, dog. I mean, I do not want to be working in the oil field. I mean, it just pays the most, so here I am. But,
Yeah.
But that's the thing about the future of colleges. Like my wife, she's getting her nurse practitioner. She's in the process of getting it now. She's got her bachelor's, and she's literally trying to decide which one she wants to go to based out of the ones that are online. She's looking at like Birmingham and all these other colleges, because she can do them online. She can get her
that's all that matters.
her
As long as
6-year
you can
degree
get it.
online. You know what I mean? At home, basically.
Right.
I mean, it's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy, but I mean,
No,
you
no,
can
yeah.
do it.
Right.
So it's a funny thing. Like you say, like you were saying a minute ago, Flip, about someone going, well, you didn't graduate high school. I'm like, well, so what? What
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't mean anything. I don't hope all of the high school kids out there looking at this and listening to it are trying to get out of high school, but
I know, right?
Well, like you said, stay in school, but
you have to do it. That's what sucks. I mean, I know it's almost kind of a little bit pointless, but you got to do it. It's not pointless, but
this is like my thing too. Is like I hate the whole notion of like, how do you say this? Like basing something off of how somebody looks.
right.
Right. So like if you're working in like a office or something, you got to wear like a suit and a tie or a polo or something, right? I was like, why does it matter? I can show up here in a wife beater and flip flops and do the same amount of work or even better work and still get my shit done.
Yeah.
Why do I need to come to work and try to impress you with how I dress? Like, what is that accomplishing?
Yeah, I always thought it was
I'm
funny.
with you on that one too.
Whenever I was a nurse's aide, when I was trying to go to nursing school and stuff, it was funny how many people would come up to me, because I'm a big dude, and they would say, "I'm surprised how easy you are with these patients." I'm like, why? Because I'm 6 foot tall and 300 fucking pounds. I mean, just because you're big don't mean you body slam everybody you come in contact with. I'm like, damn. But there was a lot of people that are like, I'm surprised how gentle you are with these people. I'm like, or that I'm nice to the older, if I was taking care of like older women or something like that, I'd be respectful, and all that fun shit. And they're like, I'm like, what? Who have you been around? I mean, I guess all women do this work, so you guys think that, a dude's gonna come in here with like his balls hanging out and spitting in the corner of the room when he goes, you know what I mean? I don't know what they expected out of me. Yeah, that was aggravating though, man, because I wore the scrubs and everything. Like you have to wear scrubs at those jobs, but it's like, why is it surprising? You know what I mean? Just because I dress this way does not make me a whore, But
Exactly.
Yeah.
I never understood like that whole idea of like who fucking cares how I look? Really?
Yeah. Oh man, there's a whole culture out there though that they don't care about a damn thing that or what you can do. It matters what you look like.
That's very true.
Yeah. Oh man. Don't get me started on any of that stuff either.
So you're doing HVAC now, right? So you work in refrigeration,
Yes.
and but you're not on the like residential side, right?
No. I've done some, but I would prefer not to.
And why is that?
Because going into somebody else's house and having them boss you around is shitty.
Really? They boss you around. They just don't let you come there and fix whatever you need to be fixed or install whatever needs to be installed and let you go. I mean, I figured that's the way it worked. You show up, you go, okay, ma'am, I'm gonna, I asked
Dude,
this.
look at it this way. A weird guy is coming into my house to install something that I don't know, or the person I don't know, and he's just walking in and out of my house.
Well, you live in Washington, so I can see people being like that up there, but they're not like that down here. You if someone needs a new air conditioner in their house and you come and you give them a price and they like the price, do it. Have a good day, and they're just going to sit back and relax. And well, they may not be relaxing because there's no air conditioner going. But they're not going to give you. They're not going to be like that here in Oklahoma.
When my air conditioner, if my air conditioner is broke in my home, I am very nice to the man that came.
Right, exactly.
And I'm serious, dude, because he has something I want, and that's my cold air blowing back out of my house because it's hot as shit in this state.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Until you get the final bill.
Oh yeah.
Well, you tell them up front. Yeah, don't spring on no extra charges on some Oklahomans because you may not make it out alive.
Well, here's the thing, Flip.
You know how hard it is to be. Hard it is to give a price
right beforehand
without knowing.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's like, look, what I do, like my rates, it's $115 for the van just to show up.
Yeah.
And then it's $115 for the first hour. So for me to just get there, you're spending $230.
Damn, I'm gonna damn sure have a problem before I call you. I'm gonna be like, damn.
You're gonna know that you.
So if I show up and I'm there, that's $230.
Now that $230, let's say there's some kind of, let's say you have to put Freon in. Does that first hour go towards the cost of the Freon?
No, it's just a diagnosis. So anything extra I use, that's additional.
And it may be that way here. I'm not sure. I know I had to have some air conditioning work last year, and he came and filled the whole because he filled the unit full of Freon. Okay, and it was $400. Right? He goes, I just put $400 in. I think it was $400.
And you said, all right, get in your vehicle and drive away.
Well, what we didn't know was there's a gigantic hole in the freaking line.
Oh yeah. So when he came back, did he charge you for that?
No. He stayed there, and we heard it through the wall leaking.
Oh, gotcha.
And it all leaked out before he even left. And he was like, "Oh, you got a hole." And so he ran outside and was trying to pull as much as he could. And I don't know how much leaked out, but I know I got charged for double. It was like it all charged. It was like it all. I just spent $400. I could have went to the strip club. Just kidding. I could have and spent $400.
Rammer just forgot he was on being recorded.
I could have did anything in the world with that $400, but no, it leaked. It leaked out instantaneously, right? So we had to fix that and all that, and it was over $1,000 before it was all said and done. We talked about this on the podcast a little bit, but I didn't go into depth of what happened. But yeah, dude, there was a hole in the line, and we didn't know it. You don't know it until you know.
Well, I could see why, on flip side of it, why you would want to.
I think it'd be kind of cool if you could put some compressed air or something in the line first, and then find the hole. But that's not how you find the hole. How you find the hole?
Yeah, it is actually. Yes, you can.
I got screwed, bruh. I want my money back.
I do it all the time. You just fill up the line sets with nitrogen.
Really? And then look for how much does that charge though? How much does that cost? How much is the nitrogen?
For me, when I do it, I think it's $15-20
a pound, or $15-20 to do it.
No, just for doing it in general. You don't get charged for the.
See, this dude screwed me, man. He screwed me.
He got hit hard.
Listen, I used to work at a heat and air place, man. I used to work for Destry.
He's telling that story right now somewhere. He's like, dude, I hit this dude for $800.
And Destry, he has an ice plant, Southeastern Ice, and then you've got Destry or Harbor Heat and Air. Mm-hmm. Well, when I initially started working for him, I was on the heat and air part, right? So I was the helper, because I didn't know nothing about it. I still don't, obviously, because I let some dude come in my house, and I was real nice to him. I never was mean to this dude.
Thank you so much. Please take my $1,000.
And he sucked $400 out of me before he even, right when he got there. So I And I look back on that and I'm like, I was the whole time I was like, Destry, one day I said, Destry, I want to be on the ice truck, and he's like, you want to be on the ice truck? And I was like, yes.
He's
He
like,
goes,
get
okay.
your ass in there then.
He goes, start delivering ice then, So but I look back on it, I'm like, dude, I could have learned, I could have learned. Greg Cecil, I was working with him.
I worked for Greg too, and that's where I learned I didn't have any business doing heat and air.
And that's how I felt about it too. I was like, I have no business doing this. But I could have learned the basics.
What's the company's name?
Harbor Heat and Air.
They're pretty small,
Didn't
man.
you say like Destry or something?
Yeah, Destry Harbor
Harbor
is his name.
Spell that.
Destry.
My wife's name is Destry.
Really?
I thought it was with
Yeah,
an I.
Destri.
Oh.
Yeah, isn't his spelled with an I?
No, I think it's a Y.
Is it? I don't know.
Very good dude.
Yeah,
Very
yeah,
good dude.
Yeah, unless he's on the sauce. I've seen him sour step before, and he's not a good dude when he's drunk. But
No, because he's not somebody you want to be
which I haven't seen him drunk in
on the other side of
20
too.
years. But anyway,
Because he'd come in there and he always kept his fist like real close to him, and he'd come up to you and he'd just barely pop you and knock you across the freaking. He never really did it to me, but he would do it to Trent because Trent's always like, all right, I can take it, and then he's like, boom, and Trent's like, jeez.
well. He's like, let my dad off here, bruh. We're doing
Plug in
shit.
my guy right here. Jazzy.
I know this dude, yeah.
Now Jazzy hasn't played football yet, right?
No. So he was gonna do flag football this year, but obviously no kids signed up. He was the only kid that signed up.
Oh,
The only
my
kid?
gosh. Even flag football?
Flag football.
And you're
Yep.
that close to the Seattle Seahawks? I don't get it, man. What's up? What is up? I don't get it. What's going
I
on?
don't know.
It's the coasts, man. You're living on the coast. That's what
They need to
happens.
they need to sell the Seahawks to OKC.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I think
Somebody would really bomb Oklahoma. Oh, sorry. Never mind. I didn't say
So,
I didn't
anyways,
say that.
you do heat and air, or you do refrigeration, and you've sent us some pictures of some really clean ice makers in some of these restaurants, right?
So restaurant repair, that's what I do. But the majority of the stuff we do is refrigeration stuff.
So do you
Walk-in coolers, refrigerators, freezers, stuff like
See,
that.
the cool thing about that, you can kind of, those people don't flinch at $1,000 bill. They're ready for that kind of expense.
Oh, no, they're not.
Really?
No, they're not. You would be surprised how many times I've either got kicked out of somewhere or they
Dang.
tried to fight me because they got their bill.
Try to fight you?
you give them their bill before you leave?
Um,
Probably give them an invoice or
sometimes
something.
we do if we got to go through like their accounts payable departments.
So you've had people
gotta
kick you
eat.
out, like get out of here.
I had an old man. He was probably like 70 years old who tried to fight me.
How much was his bill?
That's the thing. So his bill wasn't expensive at all. So he probably owed me, I think it was like $480 or $490. This was a few years ago. I went and looked. He had his range, his stove. There was something wrong with it. I told him, I was like, look, here's the parts you're gonna need to get it repaired. I was here for this long. The travel, diagnosis. Here's what you owe me.
So you didn't fix it. You just charged you $500.
So, yeah, so because that's part of the diagnosis,
Right.
Which we tell them we don't know how long the diagnosis is going to be, but the first hour you're going to pay $230, and anything after is going to be $115 extra. So he gives us his credit card, and hey, you too, knock it off. He gives us his credit card, and I give it to my billing lady. She's like, hey, you're gonna have to go talk to this guy and get a check because his card was declined.
Oh, damn.
So I'm in there. I was like, hey, man, like, we got to get paid. We can't do anything without, if you want more work done, you're going to have to pay us. So the hard part was this guy's old and he doesn't speak English very well. So, like, he's looking at me and he, like, you guys can see me, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So he's looking at me and he's like, well, get the fuck out of here then. I'm sitting there, I'm like, I'm on the phone with my boss as this is going on. I was like, hey, this guy just called me a jackoff and told me to get the fuck out of his restaurant. He was like, okay, did he sign your tablet? I was like, yes, he did. He was like, okay, go ahead and leave. If he doesn't pay us, we can put his account into collections because he's already signed for it.
Oh, yeah. Make all the gestures he wants to make. Now he's going to get to pay no matter what.
But like he was like, I'm not paying for any of that shit. I was like, dude, you understand if you don't pay for this, we're not coming back out here. He was like, that's not what you guys fucking told me on the phone. I'm like, look, I'm just telling you what I did, what I found, what part you're gonna need, and this is what you owe me for today. He was like, no, I'm not gonna pay you. And his wife was there too. She's old, so I gotta listen to two old people yelling at me, not in English.
In what language, dude? What language are these people speaking?
They were like Polish or something.
So all of these pictures you send us of these ice bins or ice whatever ice machines.
Don't get ice anywhere.
That's what I was going to ask you.
So
Do you get ice anywhere when you go out? Like when you go to the store or whatever? I mean, when you go to like out to eat, do you get you want an ice Coke or what? Ice Coke.
Some
Iced tea.
Some places I do.
Okay, and why is that? You just don't want to think about it, and you're just like, screw it, just give me ice.
Probably worked there before. And he's like,
nobody's perfect. I mean, it is what it is. Like, there's days where like, look, I want a cold fucking drink. I don't care at this point.
Have you seen any clean ice makers?
Here's the funny thing: ice makers wouldn't make ice if the water was pure.
Oh God.
What do you mean by that? Do tell.
So you guys heard of reverse osmosis, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that takes out whatever chemicals, anything that's in the water. If you were to use that water in an ice machine, it would never shut off. It would just freeze the entire unit over. Because there's nothing in that water to tell the ice machine that it's done making ice. Because the sensors in those ice machines, when that ice comes into contact with whatever probe is in there, it grounds it out. The salt, the hell, the ions are in the water.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're saying all ice is dirty?
It grounds out and tells the unit that the evaporator is full of ice. You need to shut off and get this ice off the evaporator. But if that water's pure and that sensor hits that ice and it doesn't do anything, it'll just continue to freeze all the water that's in there and never shut off.
I'll be damned. See, I did not know that, dude. Now I just learned something.
Do you want to know how we get around that?
Yes.
Oh God.
Yes.
We stick pennies in the water tray.
Pennies? Really?
Pennies. Yep.
The copper.
Copper. Anything that'll get whatever ions or something that's conductive into that water, because that water will not.
So the water is pure in that situation.
Yes, but ice machines won't work with pure water.
You know, man, that's crazy because we use a lot of RO water, reverse osmosis water in my work. I mean, exclusively. We use thousands of gallons of it in what I do for a living. And I didn't know that about it not conducting enough to make that's crazy, dude. My mind's blown right now.
Well, I'm sure it would work in like those nuggets and flakers. You know, like the Sonic ice cubes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's the worst ice you can possibly get.
Sonic ice?
Okay. Yes, those nuggets, those flakers. Yeah, because if you think of like those those ice cubes that you get in like like soda dispensers, like those half dice is what we call them, or those dice size ice cubes.
Mm-hmm.
So the evaporator is vertical. So when it's freezing that water, all the impurities are just flowing over and straight down in that water reservoir. So if you ever look in the bottom tray of an ice machine, it'll have like a ton of shit in that water.
Gross, dude. Like slimy shit and everything. Anything that.
Yep. But
Ugh.
those nuggets and those flakers, it just freezes all that shit in the water, and then it comes up, and then it just scrapes it right into an ice bin.
Oh, so the shit don't flow off of it. It just gets stuck in the ice.
But how does this?
It gets frozen in that water.
But it don't come in your cup. I don't ever see it in the cup, right?
Do you look in
yes,
your
it does.
cup?
If you have, do this next time. If you have water or you're drinking juice or something, let all your ice melt and look at your drink.
I thought I've done that though.
Dude, I've done it. I've found slime in my fucking McDonald's cup after it's sat there like a day. You know what I mean? The ice is melted, and I thought it was from like the
Sugar or whatever.
Yeah, something being
there.
in the drink, but I guess it's the ice, dude. Gross.
Your ice, yeah. It's all the impurities in the water. If you ever watch, if you let your ice melt in your drink, you'll see it's like oil in or gasoline in like a mud puddle or a water puddle.
Yeah, have like a sheen to it or whatever.
Yep. And those nuggets and flakers, they're notorious for like getting oil in the ice.
Ugh.
Yeah.
So how do they get by that? I mean, surely there's somebody.
Dude, you're
out there
allowed. You're allowed so much in food. Period. You're allowed.
Yeah, look, I've got friends that are in the FDA that go doing the inspections, and they tell me, they're like, if they were strict with every single restaurant, none of them would be open.
Yeah.
But how does somewhere like Sonic, nationwide? Well, I'm guessing they're nationwide. I'm guessing they're. But how do they get away with this? I mean, you would think they'd be like, all right, we got to have a different design here.
They don't give
For
a
the
damn.
size.
Well, there's standards, but like I said, if everybody was strict to the T on how it's supposed to be, nothing would be open.
Yeah, I can see
The
that.
FDA has to be lenient, otherwise things would
So
close.
it's okay to have a little sludge in your drink.
Well, that's, dude, my dad was he was a crop judger and stuff whenever he was in college, and like whenever you're judging, let's say a big bunch of wheat, like you have 10,000 bushels of wheat sitting here, you're allowed so much glass to be in that wheat. You're allowed so much nuclear waste can be per, you know what I mean? In this big group, it can have this percentage.
Yeah, that's like candy bars. Candy bars, I think it tells you on the wrapper that they're allowed a minimum amount of
Peanuts or whatever.
no bug parts.
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
Never seen that
Like,
before.
okay, like pepper, like before it's ground, is allowed to have so much rat feces in it.
Oh.
Yeah.
So much of a percentage. See, he knows because they get shit in like from the, tankers and shit. Yeah, dude. They're allowed to have so much contamination of various kinds.
There are a lot of places now that I won't even eat at. A lot of Asian restaurants. I think it sounds bad, but I think a lot of the Asian restaurants are probably like the worst places. Asian restaurants.
I'm not going to make any jokes.
Say that again?
I'm not going to make any jokes.
This Rammer, he's being racist again.
No.
You can always count on him. I think you've in my presence, I think you've pissed Flip off like 3 times.
I've never pissed Flip off.
Look at him. He's like,
I don't think you have. Not personally.
Only when I make jokes about the Supersonics.
Well,
So why not? Why
what's
not?
the deal with the Asian restaurants? Why are they the worst ones? What, you mean about not being clean, or what in what way?
Yeah, they're pretty dirty. Asian people in general in restaurants, they're pretty dirty. Like, it's disgustingly bad.
Not making any jokes.
Huh?
I said I'm not making any jokes.
Oh, like I said, I could care less. You're not hurting my feelings.
Well,
But yeah, like Indian restaurants, man. Like I think I told you this story, but I was working at like a pizza restaurant, and I was working on one of their ovens. Their oven is probably about 4 feet above the ground. So I'm working underneath it. My legs are underneath it. I'm sitting on my butt, and my legs are underneath the unit. And I'm just doing my stuff, minding my own business, and a rat runs over my leg.
Oh, dude. No,
Like,
thank you.
not just over my leg, but it runs around me, behind me, and hides underneath the refrigerator. So I wasn't sure what it was that crawled on my leg, but I turned around and I looked, and sure enough, rat tail hanging out right underneath the refrigerator.
No, I would have yelled real loud. I'm like a woman about him, dude. I've been like, oh my God.
Well, at least they
So
weren't.
yeah, like my wife is like, how do you deal with all that stuff? I was like, well, half my pay is getting shit fixed. The other half is dealing with all that nasty shit.
At least they weren't cooking the rat.
Yeah.
Maybe it was going to get cooked. Maybe it was like one of the rats that escaped.
Which there
God.
was a
Here we go.
I hate these
a
kinds of
restaurant in Seattle. I can't remember where. I've never been there. I never done work there. But they were shut down
Because they were.
I guess they were cooking cats.
See, and that's the joke I was going to make. I knew it.
Did I tell you that?
No, but I'm telling you, when I remember when I lived in Wilburton years ago, and Wilburton had a Asian restaurant, a Chinese restaurant come in. A lot of people's cats were going missing, and it wasn't a joke. From what I remember, people's cats were really turning up missing. Now but it did go around that they were, cooking the cats. But,
Well, I don't understand what's wrong with eating the cat. I'm not gonna eat. I'm not saying I eat cats, but I mean, are they less clean than any other animal? I don't know where. Is it just because we don't normally eat cats?
it's a domestic animal.
Yeah, I think they're domesticated.
You can't eat domestic animals.
So are cows. You know what I mean? Cows are domesticated too.
Yeah, but are they
on a large scale?
How many people consider that?
yeah.
How many people? Yeah, how many people have a pet cow?
My brother has 10 that he considers pets.
And he's never gonna get rid of them.
No.
Really?
Have you seen? You don't follow him on Snapchat. He's got pictures of him hugging them, of him.
So what's he having for? I mean, that would be me.
Recreation, I guess.
When people are like, "Man, you need to get some cows and get some land," and I'm like, they would just be my pets. I would never.
Yeah, that's the way my brother is.
I could never, sell. I mean, I could have a milk farm.
Well, I mean,
I could do that.
You will eat cows, though, right? I mean, I'm just kind of like.
Well, they're already dead. I'm not gonna let them go to waste.
I think what happened was, I think someone had. I can't remember what it was. I think there was like a shit ton of cats in like a alley behind the restaurant, and then I think people just started realizing like there was like less and less cats.
Yeah, that kind of went this way. Hey,
Well,
look,
no, I don't want to be.
the red and the white.
Yeah, but we don't have the right jacks. That's why I didn't get excited. But no, man, that's why I would. I mean, I wouldn't want to be given cat and told it was something else.
Well, that's what I was going to say. When you go to McDonald's and you get a hamburger, you want it to be beefy.
Yes. Beefy. Yes, I would. Yes, I 100% agree. That's definitely what I would want. But hey, no, this is not fair. You're gaming while we're talking. We are having to sit here and be bored.
Are you talking to me?
Are we being bored talking to Flip?
No, I'm on my phone, so all these text messages keep popping up.
So Flip is he was living in a house for I don't know how long, but he I don't know. When did you move into that apartment? A year ago?
Yes.
So he's been living there a year. He's fixing to move in like what, 2 days? A day? I mean, he's gearing up right now, or a week or whatever.
So, what, a week?
Okay, so he's moving to another apartment, but closer to his son's school. Correct?
Oh, do you guys want to talk about how much my rent is?
Yes, that's what I'm trying to get
this
at.
is where we're going. Okay.
This is another. It's.
We're getting all into Flip's personal details.
I'm just saying that
disgusting is what it is.
So you could move to Oklahoma and make a really good living, and save a lot of money at the same time because you're paying now. When you move to your new apartment, is it going to be a little bit higher than what you're paying now?
Yes.
Okay, because the new apartment is going to have an indoor gym, a basketball gym, and a movie theater that you have to rent. Do you have to rent, or you just put your name on it?
I don't think it's part of the rent. It's just there as shit. As much money as they're making out of everybody, why wouldn't they have that?
Right.
So they've got, dude. I would love that.
Well, it's
I would
like a
love
home
to-
theater. It's not like a gigantic. But
Hell yeah! But I mean, it shows movies. That would be awesome.
It's still really nice though, because they've got like leather seats in there, recliners. They got stereo speakers in there.
But
It's actually pretty legit.
But it's not included in the rent, or it is.
I think to rent it out, it's like $25. I think.
Okay, it's not too bad. I mean, if you want to like have a little party or something.
Dude, that sounds awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, it does.
I wish they had that here. I would
An
love
apartment
that.
complex where
with where I could go to the movies and not have to go to the movies, because I love the movies, man. I go all the time, or try to.
and you never invite me.
No, you never go.
Because you never invite me. I'm not a psychopath like you and go to the movies by myself.
Yeah, I do that. I
And
love the
that's-
movies though, man, and I don't like jacking with folks. Okay.
So anyway,
Go ahead.
I rent without utilities.
Now you live in a 2-bedroom apartment, right?
2-bedroom apartment.
Okay, 2-bedroom apartment
Rent
without
rent
utilities.
without utilities is $19.05.
How about that? Now go get you some of that, sir. Go, and I say this because LJ is always taken up for all these other cities and states, and he's all, I'd rather live in Washington. Because Flip brought up that a toll was $35 or $30 near, or somewhere in there, $20, $25, whatever. And we were talking via chat, and LJ here was acting like that was just perfectly fine. That was just perfectly fine. And he just acts like Oklahoma is just the worst place to live ever. And so it's a constant struggle or a constant battle between him and I, because I'm like, dude, really? For real?
I don't enjoy living here. I don't.
But go get you some of that. Go get you some of the $1,900 for a 2-bedroom apartment.
But do you think I'd be
And
making the
have a
same money
great day. Yes.
that I make here? No.
Well, maybe not, but the cost of living is so much higher. It's not worth it.
So is the wages.
Why do you think everyone in California is moving to Texas?
It's all relative, dude. I'm telling
Texas
you.
is the new California, man. All the Californians are moving to Dallas, Texas.
I'll bet Flip makes
For a
double
reason.
for doing HVAC work where he's at compared to this part of the world.
Well, he just told you what he charges, right?
Yeah.
And he works for a company. If he came here, I told you what I paid. I mean, I had $400.
Well, yeah, but if they have customers like you, they'd really be rich.
And it was $100 to show up or whatever.
What we charge, I don't get half of that.
That's what I'm saying. So if he started his own company in Oklahoma, I think he could do just as well. Plus, he'd be his own boss.
Well, right. I mean, I'm not saying
And he's not having to pay $1,900 for a freaking 2-bedroom apartment. $1,900.
Yeah, but he lives in a nice place. We live in the hood, dude. You know what I'm saying? McAllister, Oklahoma is not, it's not metropolitan.
He could, no, dude.
You move 30 miles from Oklahoma City and you'll pay that kind of rent.
You can go to Oklahoma City and get a condo that overlooks the freaking downtown river for that much.
I bet not.
Probably.
No, man. 'Cause,
Probably. You're going to get way bigger than 2-bedroom apartment. So you're moving to another, is it going to be a 2-bedroom about the same size, or is it a little bit bigger or smaller? Or?
I think it's smaller.
Hopefully.
It is smaller, actually.
Oh, gosh. And it's going to be more.
But it's closer to
the school.
the kid to school.
Yeah. I'm just saying, I've said my piece about paying $1,900 a month.
No, that's a lot, man. That's a lot
for
of rent.
a
That's
freaking apartment.
That's double what I'm paying
and I'm
for
not
my house.
And we've had this conversation, so he knows I'm not running his apartment down. But I'm just saying, dude, you can come out here and get a lot more for your money. Start your own business. Be your own
But you still have to
boss.
live here. You know what I'm saying? You still got to live out in the middle of nowhere.
It's not that big of a deal. It's not that big of a deal. Unless you like the rat race. If you like the rat race, then stay right where you're at, But if you don't like the rat race and you like to no, I don't think you do. I don't think you do at all. Paying $27 for a DoorDash for a burger and fries.
Dude, I'm perfectly fine with it raining every other day and have it at a nice 65 degrees during our summers.
That's what I'm talking about.
Well,
I'm perfectly fine with that too.
I can see that too. That part is the.
Let me tell you,
that's
if
one
you
of the
work
kickers.
outside like my ass does, You would damn sure be able to appreciate 65 degree days in the summertime, because we've been having these 100-degree days out here.
But here we are in August, and it's stopped. We're out of it. We're out of the 100-degree weather.
Are you kidding me?
We're now. I think for the next 10 days or 15 days, it's not supposed to get over 90 degrees, and a lot of that's going to be in the upper 80s, 87, 88. Now we know that Oklahoma weather changes, so tomorrow I'll check the weather, and it may be right back up to 98, 99, 100 degrees. Who knows?
I was going to say, I would be shocked if we get out of September without some more 100-degree weather. Very shocked.
Yeah, but it's looking good for right now.
For
No
the
joke.
next couple of weeks. I'll give you that.
Hey, here we are, man.
But I'm saying, as a general
here we
rule,
are
it's
not
hot as a bitch in
Here
this
we
state.
are not paying $1,900 for a two-bedroom apartment, and that's not utilities included. What's your normal utilities run?
Trying to think.
Flip's like, I didn't know this was going to be an
I think it's
evaluation
like
of my entire
$80
country.
to $90. I think.
For everything.
Water, water, electricity.
That's not too bad.
Well, they got this weird this garbage valet, where we can't dump our own garbage, so they have their guys come and pick up our garbage.
Union thing.
So that's
probably.
another. I think it's like $5, $10. I think.
Don't get Flip started on union. He's pro-union.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that's not even including my cable and internet, which is another $140, I believe.
Jeez.
Keep that damn internet going, okay? Don't you be cutting that out.
Don't be cutting the internet off. You got internet at your new apartment already?
I will fight somebody before they take my internet away.
I was talking to Mark Zervitz today,
Oh,
and he was talking about listening to the podcast. He's like, man, I don't got good internet out where I live, And I said, oh, so you build this big, nice house out in the middle of nowhere with no internet. He goes, I did not think about internet beforehand. I did not think that went through.
What about his phone?
I said, that's the first thing I think of.
Well, definitely. Yeah, we definitely.
Well, when I was talking about the podcast the other day, he was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to listen. I don't know. What is that?
That does
well,
not
what do you
me.
have, remember?
What do you mean? What internet I have?
No, yeah. Well, what was your download speed and all that crap?
I'm at 300 download.
Oh, see, so I was looking where I'm moving at. I can get download speeds of up to 1,000 gigabytes.
Yeah. That's
damn.
That's really fast.
I think I'm going to do that.
How much is that?
I think so with that download speed and then the channels for Xfinity, I think it was like 160 a month.
That's not bad, dude, because we pay like 140 something for the internet we have now.
Really?
Just internet?
Dang.
Yeah, we don't do anything else.
I think I pay right at 100 for my 300 download. But pretty soon we're going to have the 5G, dude, and it's going to be all we need. Even the ping is supposed to be better. That's what they say.
Listen, man, you bring it and charge me $300 a month, okay? Take my money. I want 5G.
Yeah.
Get it on your phone, man. $1,900 a month. Go get you some of that, LJ. Go get you some of that. Take up for that.
I'm going to. When my kids are grown, I'm going to go
you ain't
somewhere
going
else.
Nowhere.
Write her down
You
in
ain't
your
going
book.
nowhere.
Audi 5000.
You ain't going nowhere. We can't do the podcast if you leave, bruh.
42 winters I've spent in this state.
Yeah, me and LJ can start another podcast.
Yeah, and Flip's doing it remote. I can do it remote too.
Well,
I got some of that shit at home.
it ain't the same thing.
Well, I'll come in to do the damn podcast.
All right. You'll be making so much money, you'll come in.
Yeah, I'll fly in. What?
Okay, well, all right.
Or I might fly you out. I'll be making so much money. I'll be like
Hell
this. Hey,
yeah.
man,
That's what I'm talking about.
come out to my crib and let's do this.
I'm not coming to Seattle, though. That place sucks.
I don't know where I'm going to go. I don't know where I'll go, but I'm going somewhere. I may go to Seattle, maybe one of my stops.
Flip, you got anything you want to plug?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
you
he's
have
got
to
it
plug
right there.
something.
Northwest. I missed it.
Oh, he's got
Restaurant
something.
services.
Say, give me that jersey right there.
Uh-oh. Get the jersey out. I've got my son's jersey.
Hold it up. Hold it up. Let me see.
This is the
North
Number
Creek
5.
Jaguars.
What position? What position does he play?
Running back and linebacker.
There we go.
Linebacker.
Number 5 on the defense.
Last year he was getting in trouble, right? Kinda. He had some coaches that were trying to say he was hitting too hard. They were trying to get him suspended because he was hitting too hard.
Yeah,
wow.
trying to get him suspended.
Didn't get called for from what I remember, he didn't get called one time for illegal hit or anything, but they were just not happy with how hard he was hitting them.
Nope. He actually, he got flagged once, but the ref picked up the flag and realized that he wasn't. He saw that he led with his shoulder and wasn't aiming for the kid's head. So, I mean, he never got flagged once for helmet to helmet, or they tried to tell me that he was targeting. Like, how do you tell me a 9-year-old is targeting?
Yeah, that's weird. He's just too good, man. That's what them people are like. We got to even this up somehow. This dude's a little too far.
Like, look, my son's been playing for 3 years. He's taking his licks. So
yeah,
he knows what it's like.
Yeah, because he started early, right? He started in 2nd grade? First grade?
He was 6 or 7. Kindergarten? First grade?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. Well, you can tell, too, because when you watch videos
so.
of him, he knows exactly what he's doing out there, which is why we need him in McAllister, man.
Well, that's the thing, too. So because my wife's parents, they were coaching their youngest son, who is, I think he's 4 or 5 years older than Josiah. Josiah would suit up and go to the practices when he was in preschool.
Your wife's parents has a kid that young?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, I think her parents are 62, and he's a freshman in high school. So that's what, 15?
Oh, okay. Well,
damn.
LJ
no, sir. No, sir. I am having no more children.
Anything can happen.
Where is your wife originally from?
Her family's from Hawaii.
Okay.
Her mom is from Cuba.
Okay.
So, shout out to Deshri, who's at work right now, working graveyard. Home Depot.
Oh, man, dude.
Does she know you're doing the podcast?
Nope, she will when I tell her.
Okay.
Which was, I thought you guys were going to call me earlier to do this.
Well, we were hoping to.
Honestly, it probably would have sucked because...
Oh, okay. So it's better we waited.
About 7 o'clock my time, she's usually getting ready for work.
Oh, okay. So we got to definitely wait till she leaves.
Yeah, we don't want to get...
honestly, she probably wouldn't care because she doesn't pay attention to half the stuff I do when she's gone.
Poor Flynn.
All she cares is the boys get fed, and I just put my dishes away when I'm done eating.
Yeah. I thought he was going to say something else.
Hey, man, my wife runs this house. I just pay the bills.
All right.
Yeah.
That's a smart way to be. A lot less bullshit if you do it that way.
You're just soft.
I know from experience.
Oh, God. Wrap this up. LJ is tired.
Yes, he is tired. Okay.
He's tired.
We plugged the Jaguars, number 5, running back, linebacker, Josiah.
Idaho Vandals, number 5.
We will be watching.
Yes. On Instagram, because really that's the only... In y'all's league, do y'all have a person that comes and videos every game, and then you have a website you can go to and watch, like you can scout other teams and stuff? See, we do. So you should move. You should move to Oklahoma. We have all that. I can go back and watch our entire game last week.
You're not stopping with that.
What's that?
Do you hassle him about moving to Oklahoma even whenever you guys are playing Apex and shit?
No.
All the time.
I knew it, man. I knew it.
Well, he saw that. He saw Brandy. He saw Luke plug Brandy. So he's if she can get me a house. I said, dude, we'll get you a house.
Yeah.
For much cheaper than $1,900 a month.
Dude, you could move into my house today for half of that.
And you would have more room than what you've got now.
4 fucking bedrooms.
So there you go. Problem solved. and then you'll just be about half a mile from me. So man, we'll all have a good time.
Yeah, I rode my bike down to Rammer's house for a few days in the mornings.
Yeah, I almost shot him. Yeah, don't ride the bicycle by that hill.
You never knew anything. It was 6 o'clock in the morning, man.
Not at all.
You probably hadn't been done playing video games for like an hour whenever I rode by there.
Now, if you get close to my house, yeah, I'm gonna know, bruh.
Nah, you ain't gonna know.
I'm gonna
you ain't got no dogs or nothing, man. You
I don't
sleep
need
like
to.
the dead.
I don't need to. For some reason, I just wake up. I know.
You don't.
And that H&K, man, it floats. You know, that's why I used to tell everybody. I was like, my H&K, it floats when I'm sleeping. It floats around the house.
LJ.
Garden house.
LJ.
He's looking at you.
Oh, yeah? Hey,
LJ,
what's up, man?
look at me.
Hey.
LJ, this was fun.
Was it fun?
Rammer,
Thank you.
this was fun, Rammer.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
We should do this again.
We will do it again. Thanks for coming on finally.
Yes.
And you were an important guest, and we've been wanting to have you on for a long time. And I'm sure LeBlanc and Goldie,
Dude,
and
seriously,
Adam, and even Oompa Loompa, I'm sure they're all going to want to come on now. And they're going to, we definitely want to get, all those guys on.
Wonder if we can get Goldie to even do it. You think he'll do it?
Yeah.
You think he would?
Yeah.
I don't know if he would or
Yeah.
not. I don't know.
Yeah. I have faith in
I know.
him.
For a minute there, I was like, man, they do mention me a lot more than those other guys. I hope they're not getting mad about it.
Nah, man. Well,
They haven't said anything.
We've talked since the beginning of this thing, though, was, these guys,
Well, you're the only
like
one.
yourself. I mean, we want you on here. You're a personality, dude. You're somebody that we actually know we can talk
See, and
to.
that's the weirdest thing, too, is because, we've never actually physically met each other.
Yeah.
Right.
And, just the whole concept of, online gaming is crazy.
I agree.
Very weird. We could spend a long time talking about it. Because even as an older fellow like myself,
Yeah, you're very old.
It's definitely strange to feel like like your boys are back there playing in the back, and I don't know them, but I've heard them. Now I've seen them more tonight than I ever have. I've seen them before, but it's weird. I feel like I know kind of their personalities and that kind of stuff like that just from hearing you get onto them and shit.
Yeah.
Or this one right here, the young one, man. He watches it. I'm guessing it's YouTube, and he laughs so hard, man. It is so funny listening to him laugh. He gets all beside himself when he's watching some of them videos. It's very funny. Okay, well, let's wrap this up so LJ can go to bed because he's a little tired little boy.
I'm old.
He's a tired little boy.
I'm old as hell.
Yeah, you've been working all day, dude. It's got nothing to do with being old. But you shouldn't be working this hard at your age because you're going to get in trouble.
Well, if I was easier to get along with, I wouldn't have the low position that I have. I wouldn't have to work so damn much. I'm supposed to be somebody's boss at this point,
Very true. Very true.
But
Well, what are you plugging today?
me?
Yeah.
River Valley Tattoos.
River Valley Tattoos.
Yeah,
That's
in
where you
Fort
got
Smith,
your
Arkansas, yeah.
sleeve.
Yeah, I've begun my little sleeve that's yet to be finished. But
Now, is that a dragon?
it will be a dragon and a samurai. Yes.
Dang
at the end of it.
Rammer, do you have any tattoos?
No, dude.
None that people can see.
Rammer is pure as the driven snow.
I'm just pure as Sonic Eyes. Okay. I look good on the outside, or I look pure on the outside, but
And the bottom side is nasty.
don't let me melt.
Flip, you got tattoos?
I've got one, but I do want to get more.
Yeah.
Is it my name?
What?
Is it my name?
You gonna get Rammer
No.
on you somewhere?
Yeah, my name. PlayStation
It's my
controller.
name. I got my last name.
Oh, okay.
tattooed on me.
There's actually a man in the world, and I'm not kidding about this, that has Ben's name tattooed on his ass.
Yes, true story.
He really does.
Like it's your name.
It's my
his
name.
specific name.
Yep.
It's for Ben.
Yep.
Yes.
It was done in Austin, Texas. And, yeah.
It's not gay at all.
Nope. Nope. Unless he's covered it up by now. But I've got pictures of it. It's all.
No, he doesn't cover that kind of shit up.
I've got pictures on I think maybe no. Probably
Wait.
just
I've seen
you
it.
have a picture of your name on some other dude's ass.
100%. Yes, sir.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
I'll have to send it to you in a bit. I'm sure I know it's on my Facebook, but I'll have to, since you don't have Facebook, I'll have to send it to you through Instagram.
If I didn't know much about you, that's all I need to know.
Yep. Well, this episode was brought to you by Blackline Insurance Group. Visit blacklineinsuranceGroup.com.
You almost did it.
I know I did. I know I almost did the same exact thing. If you have any insurance needs, give us a call or go to the website. Go on the website, and there's a little short form you can fill out for whatever kind of insurance you need. It'll get to me, and then I'll work up the quote and take good care of you, right? And this is my employee of the month right here, Flip.
Hell
Flip,
yes.
Flip is the employee of the month. I was supposed to put a picture of you up. You were supposed to send me a picture of you, and I was going to put it somewhere in the office, and you never did it. But
I sent you a picture of my grandpa, and you said no.
You got a picture of his grandpa? What the hell, dude?
I don't remember this.
Yes, you did. I sent it to you. I was like, oh, here, how about a picture of my grandpa? You said no.
That's rude.
Well, all right then.
I don't remember this. I think you're making it up.
That's rude as shit.
I swear to you. You might have thought I was joking because it was an old white guy with some glasses on.
Well, you didn't tell me it was your grandpa.
100% that is my grandpa.
You have a grandpa that's white?
Yes.
Oh my god, dude, that's so funny.
Is your dad white?
No, my grandma remarried.
Oh, okay.
Oh my god, dude, that
Yeah.
gives me a headache. I laughed so,
So
hard.
I didn't know it was his grandpa. He sent it to me as a joke.
Oh my god, dude.
And your grandpa's not my.
It was a goofy looking picture too. Most people think, oh, that's not your grandpa. It's like, no, 100%. That's really my grandpa.
But your grandpa's not employee of the month, so that's what I'm saying.
But who wouldn't laugh at an old white guy?
I haven't even seen it, and I'm laughing. Okay,
Exactly, and he hasn't even seen the picture.
Where did you send it to? My Instagram?
I think I might have. Yes.
I think you're making it up because I'm gonna go back and look and prove you wrong.
I could send it to you again.
Okay, send it to me again, but I want a picture of you too.
I'll send it into the group so that LJ can see it.
Yes.
Please do,
yes,
man.
Please do.
Please.
BlacklineInsuranceGroup.com.
I will be back.
All right, then. Have a great day.
I don't drink coffee.